Thank you. Shit, I guess I got to go first, right? You're the guy that starts the thing. You kind of got to go first. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Cool. I don't want a mic.
No mic.
First of all, I think I just really got to say this is pretty mind-blowing. This is pretty amazing for me. This is actually a dream come true. And that's pertinent to the topic. I mean, that's pertinent to the topic because there was a time when there's no way in the world I would have been able to admit that to you guys. And that's a big part, I guess, of the transforming my story, or transforming my story bit. Yeah. Thank you to everyone who's come here. So our current clients, you guys blow my mind. You're what I live for. For the influencers that have come, also thank you very much for taking the time to do that. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. And to those of you who are new to us, welcome. You do belong here, even though you might be shitting yourself right now. Me too. I guess transforming my story, I'll start at the start, like I kind of grew up, for those of you that don't know my story, I kind of grew up and felt, best way I can describe it is I guess I felt like I never really quite fit in. I felt like people judged me and I judged myself. I always felt had this experience of life that as I wasn't quite enough. I wasn't quite good enough. I needed to look a certain way. I needed to get better grades at school. I wasn't, and the world taught me that as well. Like as I grew up, I remember so-and-so is better at maths than you. And you need to be getting better grades than, so-and-so over there. And you're a bit overweight, mate. You need to lose a bit of weight. Or if you were just a bit skinny, a bit lighter, you'd be able to play in the backs in the footy or whatever. And all of that stuff and all the messaging I took to mean that, as I am, I'm somehow not okay, I'm somehow flawed, I'm somehow not good enough, and that I need to change that, right? And I need to work really hard to try and change that. And I guess I did that for a little while. I tried to do that. I tried to play that game. Didn't work really well. It kind of began to fail. And interestingly, the more I did that, the more I started to build up this, I guess, anger inside toward myself, where I got to the point where I was really still quite young. I remember being quite young and making this decision that, like, in my head, it sounded exactly like, if you guys are not going to love me as I am, then fuck you, I'll show you how bad I can be or how naughty I can be, And I did that pretty successfully. I started being, I guess, as naughty as I could, Like I was only young, we're talking like still single digits at this stage, but just started acting out a little bit. I remember going and playing footy and that was fun. I enjoyed the rough part of footy, but I still felt like I didn't fit in, Like the kids in my team were all from the private schools and they all knew each other and I didn't know them and I was kind of like the fat kid and just never really felt like I fit in anywhere. And as most of you guys know, I get sick of telling the story because I've told it so many times now, that, the 10-second version of that is I started playing up more, and as a kid who felt really, really, not okay to be himself inside, I found drugs, and they're a really good way to change that feeling really, really quickly. You know what I mean? Like if I don't want to feel uncomfortable or unpleasant, fucking intelligent child goes, let's change that real quick by taking a drug, right? And so I started doing that and it worked really well at first until it didn't, Like I heard Russell Brand share it recently. He said, drugs were fun and then it was fun with problems and then it was just problems, and that was my experience, right? Long and the short of it, I burnt my life to the ground really successfully. And nowadays, like I remember lots of periods of that where I couldn't get a job. I tried to do this volunteer work because I couldn't get a job and they said, no, because of your history, you can't do that. I remember my family sitting me down and saying, we're basically disowning you because you're causing too much pain on the rest of the family. And feeling like a real no-hoper and accepting that, and feeling and being that and then owning that. Until for whatever reason, I came to a place where I said, okay, for me, the experience was I'm actually going to die or I'm going to change this, and the dying thing was like not a joke. There was like lots of overdoses and near-death experiences and getting brought back to life by the ambos and all that kind of thing. And in doing that, I obviously decided to change my life because I'm still here. And I was thinking this afternoon on the topic because I got the heads up. And I was driving. We do that on purpose, by the way, so you don't overthink like I have all afternoon. The first part was recognizing that I had a story, you know, like I just thought this head that constantly told me all these things was who I was. I thought this head that constantly says, you're fat, you need to lose weight, you need to make more money, you need to be more successful, you need to get pretty girls to like you, you need to do blah, 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 whatever it was. I thought that was who I was, right? Learning that that voice wasn't who I was like a game changer for me. So just recognizing that that's not who I am and that that can actually be changed and I can become someone else essentially, right? That was the most first critical step. Second part was going, well, if I'm not that voice, what voice am I, right? And the best way I can describe it, and I don't know if, I know a lot of people that I speak to one-on-one can relate to it, but for me it's kind of like, I know when I'm going to go do the wrong thing, you know, like if I can relate to food, like I know if I should get the chocolate or have the whatever. Part of me knows what's right for me. You know, that there's a voice that says, yeah, have the chocolate, it's fucking awesome, right? And then there's another voice that says, no, that's not what you want, that's not right for you, yeah? What I began doing was listening to that other voice. You know, I might be in a relationship with someone and I know it's unhealthy, but my head tells me it's good and it's safe and stay here, you don't want to do this, but part of my head says, yeah, stay, it's all good, you know, ticks all the boxes, blah, 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 blah. But deep down inside, that other voice knows it's not right for me. So I started to listen to that voice, no matter how fucking scary it was, and it was really scary, you know? So listening to that other voice, realizing the story wasn't real, then beginning to listen to that other voice. You might call it your conscience, you might call it your higher self, you might call it your whatever, I don't really care. Pot plant, don't care, call it whatever you want. Began listening to that other voice, and then the next part was, you know, I began what we call doing the things. You know, so actually doing the things that I know are good for me. All right, so if I know I wanted to lose weight and start exercising, I actually got to turn up and do that. Sitting around thinking about it doesn't work. You know what I mean? If I want to put on an event like this, sitting around and thinking about it doesn't make it happen. You know what I mean? I actually got to do the things that make it happen. In those early days, that was really kind of horribly scary stuff. Like I suffered panic attacks and I suffered really bad anxiety. I remember going to speak publicly one time and literally having a panic attack in the car park and like thinking it was a plausible excuse 10 minutes before speaking to send a text and say, sorry guys, I'm not going to make it, you know, like, and actually thinking that was an option, you know, but doing the things, walking upstairs, delivering it, stuttering, fucking like speaking half Chinese while I did it because I didn't even know what I said, but it turned out okay, you know. And then after that, over time, going, oh, I am okay, I didn't die, holy shit, I'm cool, and then I guess beginning to build that up, and then I guess practicing, getting to actually like that guy, you know, saying yes when I mean yes. When I was a kid, like whatever footy team or wherever I was like pretending to be like you guys. You know, if you guys liked heavy metal music, I like heavy metal music. I fucking hate heavy metal music. You know what I mean? But I pretended I liked it, you know, or if, whatever, trying to fit in, being a bit of a chameleon. So doing the things for me was changing that stuff. Doing the things for me was saying, you know what, I actually really like meditation and owning it. You know, doing things for me was saying what was real, saying what was true. You know, and my experience of that after doing it for over a decade now is, you know, while I was driving, thinking about what I was going to share this afternoon, I went, holy shit. You know, for the kid that used to be so worried about what everyone thought about me, not once today have I worried what you guys are going to say after I share here. Not once, like, and I fucking mean it. Like, not once. I don't care what you think about me. And I know for certain I'll leave here tonight, even if some people go, it wasn't what I came for, oh my God, that was weird, those guys are freaks, like that will not affect my self-esteem. You know, I want you guys to like it, obviously. I want you guys to join us, obviously. Like, that's cool, like this is my mission, that's what I'm here for. But that's not gonna affect me anymore. Whereas that would screw me up for days, if not weeks back in the day. You know, so that's where I'm at. Thank you very much, guys. It's an absolute honor to have you here, and I really mean that.